Deadlock's 6 newest heroes are incredible, don't get me wrong, but they have been really dominant in the game's meta even since the update ended on February 12th, but I don't know for how much longer. Hey everyone, this is Connor here at Dead Unlocked, and Yoshi gave us some interesting news about a patch that's going to be probably coming this week. I want to break down what we should expect and why we might be seeing the new heroes a little bit less in games moving forward. All right, we'll start with a reply from Yoshi in the Deadlock official Discord. This is Deadlock's lead developer, by the way, if you're new to the channel. We often get updates about the game state from Yoshi, and so he was responding to a question here. Yoshi, when are we able to ban the new heroes? Yoshi replies, should be this week. That change will come alongside the balance patch we are working on, so we get a lot here. We get that it should be this week, which could be next week as well, but probably this week. We'll get a change that allows us to ban the new heroes. I think this probably will be something that we see quite a bit, actually. I think there's going to be a little bit of a rubber band effect by the community where these new heroes have been so densely populating games for a while now, since about mid-February when the update ended, and then obviously during the update as well, they are getting played heavily. So we've just seen a lot of the new heroes, so I think people are ready to see a little bit less of them in games. I think the bans will serve that purpose, but also I really would think that the balance patch is going to target these new heroes. They've been really dominant. Someone like Celeste in particular, I think, is going to get nerfed. So in any case, I do want to spend some time looking at esports results recently and like pick rates, ban rates, and Deadlock Night Shift, and talk about maybe where we can expect some nerfs and some buffs coming through in this balance patch. So where I always like to start when I think about balancing is kind of what are the best of the best players evaluating the current heroes as. And so Deadlock Night Shift posts these graphics every week. These are always great to kind of see a snapshot of what the pros are playing or not playing. And so obviously you see a lot of the new heroes towards the top, and you see a lot of heroes in this kind of zero pick ban area. And this is really why I feel like there needs to be a balance patch right now, and so many people are kind of hard pressing this, because it feels like the parity between the good heroes and the bad heroes is so wide, and there's very few heroes in like this middle section. Like you could argue like Drifter, Ivy, Grey Talon, Lady Geist are like pretty good heroes. They're like borderline meta, but it's just so clear what some of these meta heroes are with like Celeste, Silver, Mina, Mirage, Apollo, etc. Abrams, like frontline feels really strong right now. So I would anticipate, if you want to kind of look first at what heroes to expect buffs from, I actually would look at like these bottom 3 rows. I mean, I think that Wraith could definitely use a buff. Viscous, I think Spirit in particular could use buffs. I mean, Gun Viscous is not a fun version of Viscous, and I don't think we'll be back there anytime soon. But I do think Viscous's Spirit elements could be stronger. His kit's so good that he's one of those that can kind of balance on a knife's edge in terms of balancing, either being way too strong or being just not viable, which kind of feels like he is now. Vindicta, same way. I would also say Dynamo and Doorman can maybe use some slight buffs rather, and then probably the same thing for Infernus. Honestly, not really sure specifically with the bottom half of the table elsewise. Maybe you could make the case for Haze. I don't think Graves needs a buff necessarily. Of all the new heroes, I feel like she is in probably the worst place balancing-wise. But I do think she is in a good place overall once those kind of top echelon of heroes get nerfs. And then, yeah, on the flip side, when I think of nerfs, I really would look at this table as an interesting starting point. I think Celeste has to be nerfed, probably in a pretty holistic way. I mean, similar to the nerfs that Apollo got, I still feel like Apollo is also one that we should probably see some more nerfs from. But when he came out, it felt like he got absolutely gutted, and Celeste never really got that same treatment. I feel like Silver could also be one that could probably use some more nerfs. Venator as well. Venator is another one when I talk about Viscous kind of being on that knife's edge. It feels like Venator is kind of in the same place right now, because if he's strong, he just feels like a better Warden in every way, or something similar. But I feel like if he can be balanced and really be a good blend of like a melee build, or just like a maybe decently viable M1 carry, like a tanky, bruisier kind of M1 carry maybe, I think Venator could be balanced just fine. And then otherwise, frontline feels really strong. I mean, Abrams feels good, Billy feels good, Shiv feels good, Drifter, I mean, like anyone who can kind of represent a like somewhat frontline feels pretty strong right now. But all in all, I feel like the nerf targets have to be the new heroes to start. Elsewise, again, maybe someone like Shiv, maybe someone like Mina or Mirage, maybe, but again, those don't feel as necessary. If the new heroes can maybe be reined in with the rest of the crew, I feel like we'll be fine. But with the balance patch coming later this week, we probably aren't going to have to wait very long to figure out what is coming in this patch. But in any case, I would be curious to hear what you all think. Which heroes are you most excited to see hopeful nerfs for? Who are you going to be banning when you can ban the new heroes? Let me know kind of your thoughts on the state of balance right now. I feel like Deadlock is in a pretty bad balance spot right now, actually, but it feels like this is just kind of that post-update where we're at. I feel like devs have kind of maybe taken to some other tasks. Balancing has maybe fallen a little bit lower on the priority list. You know, there's that new hero hype that can kind of carry the game so far. I feel like now the community has kind of settled back in, so to speak. I feel like people are ready for higher quality matches. This is where you see a lot of the griping about matchmaking and stuff too. So I feel like devs have got to hear a lot of that, and I imagine we get more and more fixes and updates. The matchmaking changes do seem to have taken effect. I mean, I have a good friend that I play with who was in Oracle, and now he's in Obscurus. He's mainly a Street Brawl player, so I feel like maybe Street Brawl was taken out of rank equation, like in terms of factoring your rank. And then also, he doesn't play the standard mode, so I feel like it kind of looped him into that new player batch where it changed your rank significantly. So it seems like matchmaking changes are in the works. Timeline's still unknown, but again, let me know what you're most excited for with this upcoming balance patch. Thank you all so much for tuning in. As always, from our house to yours, we'll see you all next time here at Dead Unlocked.